most of the people have become experts in quoting him. But they do not analyze, they do not interpret, they do not apply to the life situations. They get just satisfied by quoting. But I sincerely believe that every quote needs to be discussed in detail, elaborated in depth, and must be applied to our daily life. If we are sincere enough, we should also correlate with other religious doctrines, ideologies also. Because most of us claim to be followers of Sathya Sai Baba, who stands for unity of religions. The unity of religions just remains a slogan if you have no idea of those religions. Unity of religions. Supposing I ask you, what do you know about Bible? What do you know of Quran? What do you know of Buddha? I do not know. Then who are you? Unity of religions. It is just a slogan, a banner, but not a reality. Therefore, my friends, I personally feel that every quotation of Swami, every teaching of Swami must be discussed, elaborated, and also apply to other religious teachings so as to bring out parallels between these scriptures. Then only we deserve to be called followers of Sathya Sai Baba, who is a multi-dimensional personality. Well, that apart, what is the topic for the day? I'm just reminded of what Baba said at one time. Duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. Love without duty is divine. I repeat once again, duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. Love without duty is divine. Let us try to understand these three profound statements of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba without just keeping quiet. I know, though we do not know. Let us learn one after one. Duty without love is deplorable. What does it mean? This kind of duty we find everywhere. In offices, in institutions, everywhere we find people discharging their duty. But they discharge their duty without love. How do I say that they discharge without love? As Baba puts it, long, serious, oily castor oil faces. The castor oil faces indicate they're anxious to finish off their duty and go back. So, duty without love is deplorable, is very much expressed on our face first. We should be able to take it nicely in a sportive way. We are not able to do it. And we also know at several places, people say, well, it's my duty time, 10 to 5, okay. I must go to duty. What is this duty actually? I don't say that I discharge my duty in Andhra Christian College at Guntur for 26 years. Do I say that? No. I served in AC College for 26 years. No one says, I did my duty there. Duty is an ugly word. I'm sorry to say that. The word duty is ugly. Service is beautiful. I served in this institution. I had about 26 years of service over there. Therefore, duty versus service. What is duty? What is service? Duty without love is deplorable, meaning taking duty mechanical, routine, robot-like, computerized, repetitive, boredom. Pakka boring. Because we feel, it is duty time, let me go. You are not happy about it. You are not enthusiastic about it. Duty is something imposed. Duty is not cheerful. Duty is not joyful. Duty is expectational. You expect some prospects. You expect some promotions. You expect some recognition. Duty is expectational. Duty is rather not totally selfless. No one does the duty selflessly. There is an element of selfishness there. So, all the duty without love means this. That which is selfish, that which is expectational, that which is imposed, that which is repetitive, that which is monotonous, utter boredom is duty. Such a duty is deplorable, horrible. Meaning, we wait for our retirement so that I am free from that bloody duty. Cut. There is the matter. Adding to that, duty is time bound. Morning till 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 8 to 12. Time bound. The duty is put within the frame of the time. And the duty has got some targets to reach. By this week, you should complete this work, okay? Finish, you are finished. That's the reason why most of the software engineers, because of their targets, they spend long hours in front of the computers with the result they have. Whether they reach targets or not, I do not know. But they'll have spondylitis. Watching, typing. Because targets are like that. They don't have time. Let me share with you my own experience. I now and then go to Bangalore and see very youngsters going on motorcycles. All of them are software engineers. They earn lakhs of money, but they lack health. They lack health, but they have lakhs of money. And they are not cheerful. As they return from their offices, we feel as if they are carrying the load of the planet Earth on their head. Heavy load, dead weight. Meaning they are exhausted. They are tired. Spent up forces. Naturally they look like that. Such a duty is deplorable. There's no love there. And such a duty is to eke out our living, to earn our daily bread. Therefore, such a duty without love, which is just mechanical, to carry on our living, is deplorable. Now we come to the second stage. Duty with love is desirable. Discharge your duty with love that is desirable. In certain offices, certain airports, we find some tables with a board on that. May I help you? May I help you? They do their duty with love. Who will say these days, may I help you? How am I bothered? I don't need to help you. Better you hang yourself. May I help you? And to my surprise, I also found in certain airports at the checking point, immigration counter, what brought you here? Oh, good time. Wish you a nice time with your family. That we don't find people saying that. Yeah. I wish to stamp on his head on the face also. Huh? There's no smile. I saw in certain airports, they say, welcome. What brought you here to see your grandchildren? Nice time with your grandchildren, good time. That's what they say. That is duty with love. Meaning, there is lovingness, a kind of care, a kind of concern. Meaning, human relationship. Humane. You love to have a person. You love to invite a guest. There is a joy in welcoming a person. You cannot simply take it as like an envelope and throw it away. It's not like that. That is duty with love. Where there is love, there is cheerfulness. Where there is love, there is joy, thrill, excitement, smiles, laughter. There's smile and laugh. I visited some of the hospitals abroad, where even midnight the nurses, they start laughing and moving about. They just take it casually, as if it's a sports ground like that. They laugh. I really liked it. Because what happens in most of the hospitals is, watching those people, we become more sick. Because the fellows who attend on you, they put such long faces that would tell you that you are very close to the grave. Cemetery. But that I didn't find that. They just laugh hilariously. Meaning, they discharge their duty with love. Duty with love is laughter. Duty with love is a matter of joy. It is never tiresome. You will never get exhausted of it. You go on doing it continuously because work makes you engaged. Feel happy, excited. There is excitement when you do your duty. There is a thrill in doing your duty with love, of course. We can see how excited he is. We know people working for long hours. Still they are so energetic. Still they are joyful. We may say they are energetic, joyful because they are quite younger to me. It's not a matter of age. Some people may say that they have no problems, therefore they are cheerful. I'm sorry, your work in the office has got nothing to do with your problems at home. Life is not something like an accounts book. The last entry will be brought forward to the next page. Life is not brought forward. Every chapter ends there. The moment you come out of the house, there ends the matter. When you get into the office is your world. The work spot is your world, your playground. Therefore, duty with love is inventive. It is creative. And we also know the duty with love is receptive. If we say anything, they are ready to receive whatever you say. Sir, it will be nice if you have another table there. It will be very nice if another person is kept there. Oh, brilliant idea. Whether they do or not, that's a different thing. Oh, brilliant idea, let's think of it. Yes, it is receptive. Welcome the new innovative suggestions and experiments. That is duty with love. Duty with love becomes a matter of service. Duty without love is just action. We have so many actions. Breathing is an action. Thinking is an action. Movement is an action. There is nobody without an action. Somebody may say, well, I have nothing to do. At least you breathe, right? At least you eat. Am I right? You sleep. Am I right? So you are sleeping, eating, thinking, blood circulation, heartbeat. They are all actions. Some are voluntary actions. Some are involuntary actions. Some actions are your doings. You are doing it. I pick up the glass. It's an action. Doing. My heart is beating. I am not doing. It is happening. My blood circulates. I am not doing. It is happening. My mind thinks. I am not doing. It is happening. So actions are of two types. Doings and happenings. Doings are human. Happenings are spiritual, divine, beyond you. Suddenly we say, I'm surprised that I'm meeting you. Oh, it's a long time back I met you. It's so nice to see you with a doctorate degree. I'm thrilled about it more than you. That's what we say. It only means what? There's something new. So something that's really exciting that makes you look at him. So duty with love is service. Duty without love is mechanical. Duty with love is service. Duty with love is satisfying. Whereas duty without love is most disgusting, contemptuous. Whereas with love, it's quite encouraging. You like it. Therefore, duty is transformed into service when once it is discharged with love. Therefore, my friends, in whatever capacity we are, whatever job we may be doing, either in service or retired, a householder or a professional, we need to do our duty with love as service. As I already defined, discharging duty with love is service. That's it. Supposing if I ask you, anybody there, sir, shall I sit here? No. Duty without love. Can I have one more spoon of sambar? No. Duty without love. Can I sit there? Duty without love. Duty, but there is no love. There is no beauty there. Suppose you come and ask me, sir, what is darshan time? It is not my duty. But if duty is to be service, there should be smile on your face. There should be willingness in your spirit. Willingness. And readiness. Readiness, willingness. Cooperative feeling. Helpful nature. That will only make the duty with love that ultimately, eventually called service. I think I am clear. Then comes the third step. Love without duty is divine. Love without duty is divine. I say. Take for example, the mother loving the child. She may take it up as duty initially, but later, mother continues to love the child eternally, not as a matter of duty. The moment son or daughter are married, there is no more a duty for the mother to take care of them, but still she goes on thinking of her children. That's why mother is kept on the top place in the hierarchy of the family life. Of course, father may not be expressive as mother. Father may be impressive and mother may be expressive. Therefore, the mother or parents care for the children, though their duty to bring up, though their duty to see them settle down is over, still they love. That's what it is. Love without duty is divine. Maturdevo bhava, mother is God. Pitrudevo bhava, father is God. Meaning, it's love without duty. They have no duty to perform. Your children may be living thousands of miles away from you, but still you love them. Not as duty. You care for them, you are concerned for them. They are completely in you, with you, in your memory. It means what? It is love without duty. Once a boy said to Swami, "Thank you, Swami, for all that you have given." Swami distributed some watches to these fellows. Watches are distributed to these boys. Some fellows, they wanted to thank him. "Thank you for your beautiful watches." Swami's reaction is this: do you tell your mom curry is very nice, kitchen is very nice, glass is very clean, thank you very much? Do you tell like that? Do you tell your dad, "Oh, this coat is nice, the shoes are nice, thank you"? Do you say that? I am not a third person. That's what Baba said. I am not a third person. It only means love without duty. Love without duty is divine. Meaning, divine is not a third person. Divine is more than your own parents. Why? You cannot be with your parents throughout. While you are young, while you go to the college, you are away from your parents. When you stay in a hostel, you are away from your parents. You have to be away from your parents for some time, at some stage or other. But you are with the divine. The divine is in you. Can you be away from yourself? If I say, can you be away from yourself? You'll get a doubt. If Anil Kumar is sane or insane this morning. You cannot be away from yourself. Similar way, God is in you. You cannot be away from Him. Swami goes one step higher. You are God. God is in you. You are in God. And you are God. These are the steps of progress, of advancement, of enlightenment, of evolution in the spiritual ladder. Slowly. Therefore, my friends, love without duty is divine. Once in one of the talks, Swami said this. He was just telling boys how to behave properly, what life is. Then boys are boys, Then Baba made this statement. What did he say? Look here, if you are going to be good, I am not going to be profited in any way. If you are going to be very bad, it is no loss to me. We have no personal blood relationships between us. But I love you. That love makes me talk to you these things. Some of these things are very straight, pointed, focused. You may feel humbled. You may feel insulted by certain statements. When Swami is highly irritated, he would say, "You are donkeys and pigs." Well, we feel very bad about it. Then he said, "I am very harsh because I want you to be very good in life. If you are very good, prosper, well, I am not going to be benefited. If we fail and lose, I am not going to put to loss because I am not human, I am divine. Bhagavan is divine. So he doesn't go by the calculation of profit or loss. He wants the quality in your life. That is, love without duty is divine. And further commenting on the love, he said this. Love is not simply an attribute. Love is not simply a quality. If you say you are a lover, as a lover, you may love 2 or 3 people, or your family people, your community people, those that work, your colleagues. Lover. I love my colleagues. I love my family. I love my relationships. Yes, it's all limited. As a lover, you are limited. But if you transform into love, you are vast, expansive, all-embracing, everlasting, unconditional. That pure love is unconditional. That pure love is beyond time and space. That pure love has got nothing to do with cause and effect. That pure love beyond logic. Somebody cannot say, what could be the reason why he loves you? What is the logic behind you being called by Baba? In initial stages, we'll have that discussion. He'll call some people for interview. Then you begin to feel, why not? Why not he calls me? Why him only? Why? Is there any logic behind his selection? Just picks up like that. What is the logic there? But the truth is, divine is illogical. Divine is illogical. Divine is irrational. Your rationality and logic apply to the world. Worldly nature, worldly living, worldly transaction. There you have this logic and reason. That's why Swami says, no reason for love, no season for love, no reason for love. Why? There's some reason for love. Supposing I love you because you are very beautiful. Reason is beauty. I love you because you are my boss. Reason is very clear. I love you because you are a rich man, so that I can take some loan from you. But Swami's love, no reason for love, no season for love. No reason. It only means divine is illogical. Divine is irrational. Divine is beyond reasoning. Supposing I say, why sun is shining? He shines. Because he shines, he is sun. What is the reason? Sun shines, that's all, no reason. If you go to a flower and say, oh, why do you blossom? The flower, if it is capable of speaking to you, it will look at you like a fool. Why this fellow is asking me why I blossom? Who is this fellow to question me why I'm fragrant? Why there's good smell or aroma in me? Why this fellow is asking? If he capable of it, let him enjoy and get out, rather asking the reason. So reasoning and logic and rationality, if I may say so, get into the picture in worldly matters or mundane world. Divine is beyond. No cause and no effect. Some people come and say, you are very lucky. How do you know? Some people say, I am very unlucky. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? In the early years when I came to Swami, in 70s, When you are speaking of some people for an interview, I used to feel, are they better than me? Are they more virtuous? Are they more devoted? Because I wanted to know the reason. The reason why few are called by Baba for an interview. And these fellows also come out of the interview room as if everyone is a sage or a saint. Foolish fellows. Foolish fellows, top class. And moreover, they become egoist. As they get into the interview room, they'll bow down like that, with folded hands. As they come out of the interview room, they want to know others have noticed this or not. Let others know that I am called for the interview. Poor fellow. He won't stop at that. He will stop the traffic. Go and tell, I got the interview. Why should I know when you got the interview? He begins to tell, you know what Swami told me in the interview? As if he is the only devotee in this universe. In the entire universe, he is the only. Meaning, that interview, instead of making him more humble, more simple, more serviceable, more loving, he has become arrogant, a stupid, egoistic fellow. I'm sorry to say that. There's a very great man, a saint said this. A saint said this. I'll tell you his name outside. What did he say? I'm yet to come across the devotees who received gifts from Swami like chains and rings, who are humble and simple. These gifts of grace made them feel proud, exhibitionist, get into propaganda and publicity. What a pity it is. Therefore, my friends, because that fellow thinks, because of my devotion, Swami called me for an interview. You are no devotees in front of me. Huh? He thinks the devotion is the reason for selection for an interview. When I was feeling like that in 70s, one of my students who is still working here, long back, I know him for last 40 years or 45 years. He's working here still. He came close to me and said, Baba called communists from Bengal also for an interview. He called communists also for an interview. And some gundas for an interview. So what? You want to be a gunda? You thought he is a saint, therefore he's called for an interview. Let me be saint. There is some reason. Now a gunda, a rowdy, a communist is given an interview now. So you want to be a rowdy now? Meaning, when you start explaining things from the point of reason, rational and logic, you will fail. Please understand that. If you go to the ocean and say, why waves here? Oh, ocean, can't you be steady? No reason. Therefore, my friends, this divinity is beyond all rationality. Love and logic are different. Logic is mundane, whereas that is temporal. One is ephemeral, other is temporal. One is mundane, other is beyond. Therefore, my friends, love without duty is divine meant all these aspects. All these aspects. Simple example. Swami supplied water to the whole district of Anantapur, spending thousands of crores for them. Even today, many people do not know that is an expression of love of Bhagavan. They simply draw water and go. Open the tap, Fill the pot, go. This tap was not there few years ago. There is not even a drop of water a few years ago. You might easily draw water and get out. This, I have brought it to the notice of Swami. Swami, how people just draw water and go. They do not know that you made the water available to them, the drinking water. While on our way to Bangalore, sitting by his side, do you know what Baba said? Water is given to them not to recognize me, not to thank me, not to feel grateful to me. That's it. Love does not expect any thanks. Love does not expect any gratitude. That is pure love. Because what we think is, if God fulfills one desire, I will be thankful to Him. Or else, thankless. We forget the fact that we are alive, for which we should thank Him. The heart is beating, thank Him. Lungs are breathing, thank Him. You are still alive, thank Him. You are brought back to life this morning from sleep. Who woke you up? Did I tell you anybody, please get up? Nobody told you. Did anybody tell you your name is this? Because in sleep you are just unconscious. You do not know what happened while you are in sleep. But who wakes you up? Who tells you what you are? Who reminds you of the past? Should we not thank Him? Therefore, my friends, thanks is a kind of regular habit. It's a regular habit, like our breathing. Some fellow says, I'm ready to offer 1,000 coconuts if my son gets a medical seat. As if God is running short of coconuts. Or he is running a pakka coconut shop. All these coconuts, he'll put them on sale. Is that a businessman of coconuts? Why? It only means we link it up a matter of business. Love is beyond business. Love is not business. Love is not reciprocal. Supposing I say, Swami has blessed you. If that fellow says, you know how much I have done to Swami? I have done so much to Swami. Oh, reciprocity, give and take, bi-directional process is worldly. Unidirectional flow, continuous flow of rain, continuous flow of light, continuous shine of sun. Unidirectional. It is not reciprocal. So, love is not reciprocal. It is unidirectional. Therefore, love without duty is divine. I mean, selfless, unidirectional. Not reciprocal, not selfish, illogical, irrational. It's very surprised to think of divinity in terms of what I have been placing in front of you. There was an old person in the canteen who left recently. He used to say, I'm the adopted son of Baba. Very good. Then I asked him, then who am I? At that, some fellows say that we are from Swami's family. Has Swami any family? I don't know. We belong to Swami family. I don't know. The whole universe is Swami's family. All belong to his family. Because our families are different. The universal family is individual family. Individual families are blood relations, or attachments, bondage, but that universal family, beyond bondage, no attachment at all, that is divine. That is love without duty, that is divine. We have to understand this subject from that point of view. Then we'll evolve from stage to stage. Or else we remain passive and stagnant. If I remain stagnated, well, it is stinking. Stagnation is stinking. Stagnation is infectious, contaminating, full of pollutants. Let us not stagnate in spiritual life. Spiritual life is not stagnation. What do I mean? Some people say, I get up early in the morning, attend Nagar Sankirtan, wonderful, next. Then what do? Finish. Some say, I attend bhajans regularly. So what? You are not attending bhajans as a matter of service to Swami. Are you doing anything service to the entire community? It's not that, my friends. That awareness, that alertness, that attentiveness, that God loves you. Not as His duty, because His love embodied. His love personified. That Swami says, God is love. Love is God. Live in love. That's what it is. It's quite simple to quote. Easy to quote and get down from the dais without any knowledge. Simple example. Some of the fellows left this place. Once upon a time, they were very close to Swami. This question was put to him. Swami, you loved them very much. They were with you for a long time. I don't see them here. Why? Out of His mercy and munificent grace, He allows me to put questions like this. Or else if anyone puts such a question, he has to collect his luggage from Chitravati. It is highly risky. Somehow He allowed me because I don't know. No logic, no reason for love. Why? You know what He said? He never said that these fellows left me. I shall see how they will come up in life. He has not said, I am happy if they are happy anywhere. I am happy if they are happy anywhere. It only means nobody can claim that I am here, therefore Swami's grace is limited to me. I have every monopoly on His beatitude. Rather, I have patent rights on His love. Can you say that? It only means whether I am here or elsewhere, His love continues. He continues to love. Because this love of Bhagavan is beyond geography. Some people said, Puttaparthi was speaking about this Puttaparthi a lot. I gave him patient hearing. He's quite an young man. I told him, you are right. You are right in every point of view speaking about Puttaparthi. Now I want you to go a step higher. A step higher. What is it? I'll give you an illustration. Long back, Swami visited Chennai. At the time, the state president said in front of Swami, fellow devotees, I request you to visit Prashantinilayam. I want you to visit Puttaparthi. I request you to see all the institutions. I want you to experience Prashanthi Nilayam. That's what State President said. We were just watching, waiting for Swami's discourse to follow. Then Swami got up and said, please believe me, Swami said, you need not come to Prashanthi Nilayam. You need not visit Puttaparthi. Prashanthi Nilayam is your very heart. Prashanthi Nilayam is your very heart. It is not a geography in Andhra of India, in the Andhra Pradesh, Anandapur district, there are many fellows who are not aware of Prashanthi Nilayam and its significance. There are many people, many, even more. They don't know its significance. They don't feel the vibe of Prashanthi Nilayam. They don't have that emotional feeling towards Prashanthi Nilayam. Baba means where there is peace, there is Prashanthi Nilayam. Where there is bliss, there is Prashanthi Nilayam. Where there is unity, that is Prashanthi Nilayam. It only means it is beyond geography. I may be here, but my mind is in somewhere. But there may be people, once I can tell you this example. Baba blessed me with an opportunity to visit South America, the Latin countries, all of them. Yes. I've been to Peru, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Argentina, all those places I visited. 90% of them have not come to this place. Please believe me. Even more than that, 95 I would rather say, of the devotees have not been here. But they are 1,000 times more devoted than all of us put together. 1,000 times more. Why? They always think of him. They always mention his name. They think of his teachings. Yes? I don't know whether I said it earlier or not. 2 girls brought before me. They are in Peru, Lima, a big volume of 1,000 bhajans. They kept it on my lap. It is very heavy. And the girl said, Uncle, which song you want? Out of 1,000 bhajans, they wanted me to tell the song I like. We are ready to sing. How many can say this here in Puttaparthi? How many can say that? Come on, what song you like, I'll sing for you. How many can say that? Nobody. On the other hand, we say, I'm here for 30 years. Electric poles are here for 40 years. Therefore, Prashanthi Nilayam is not geography. Prashanthi Nilayam is not merely a space. Or some say, I was in Prashanthi Nilayam for 20 years. It's not a matter of time. Prashanthi Nilayam is beyond time and space. It's not geographical. Your heart is Prashanthi Nilayam. If you are disturbed here, you are not in Prashanthi Nilayam. If you get irritated for any damn thing, you are not in Prashanthi Nilayam. And if you are aggressive, given to anger every time, hatred, jealousy, you are not in Prashanthi Nilayam. Because these are plenty outside. We don't need to come here for that. For hatred, jealousy, anger, should you come to Prashanthi Nilayam? They are freely available. And we have been carrying this baggage for the last several lives. Not only now. Therefore, my friends, Prashanthi Nilayam is beyond time and space. It is one of attitude. It is one of the feeling, but not simply our allocation. No. It is a kind of life, a way of Prashantalayam is a way of life, a kind of life, an attitude towards life, a value-based living. A value-based living. That's broad perspective we have to say. Rather saying I'm in Prashantalayam, there's one block there, I'm flat 102, flat 202. Chi. No use. You will have your address, residential address anywhere. Why here? Your address is your heart. Your true address is your love. That's what it is. Therefore, duty without love is deplorable, which is just action-oriented. Duty with love is desirable, which is service. Love without duty is totally divine. Thank you very much for listening to talk in intention. Thank you. Asato ma tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrutyorma amrutangamaya. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सच्चाई बाबा जी की जय बोलो भगवान श्री सच्चाई बाबा जी की. Thank you for being here.